Falcon Heavy ended up being a much more complex program than we thought. It sounds easy. It sounds like it should be easy because it's 2 first stages of Falcon 9 strapped on as boosters. It's actually not. We had to redesign almost everything except the upper stage in order to take the increased loads. So Falcon Heavy ended up being much more a new vehicle than we realized. The boosters have all now been tested and they're on their way to the Cape Canaveral. The payload difference is quite dramatic.
All you do is inspections, and no hardware is changed, not even the paint. So this is very important. I think we're quite close to being able to recover the fairing. Just that fairing alone with all of its systems and the acoustic damping and qualification, all that, and the separation system, that's about a $5 or $6 million piece of equipment. Upper stage is about 20% of the cost of the mission. So if we get boost stage and fairing, we're around 80% reasonable. And then for a lot of missions, we can even bring the second stage back. So we're going to try to do that. I should say Falcon Heavy, that requires the simultaneous ignition of 27 orbit class engines. This is like, a lot that could go wrong there. I encourage people to come down to the Cape and see the first Falcon Heavy mission. It's guaranteed to be exciting. But it's, this is one of those things that's really difficult to test on the ground. We can fire the engines on the ground, but and we try to simulate the dynamics of having 27 instead of 9 booster engines, and the airflow as it goes through transonic. It's going to see heavy transonic buffet. There's a lot of risk associated with Falcon Heavy. Real good chance that vehicle does not make it to orbit. Want to make sure set expectations accordingly. I hope it makes it past, far enough away from the pad that it does not cause pad damage. I would consider even that a win, to be honest. Major pucker factor, really.
Yeah.
It's like another way to describe it. Falcon Heavy is going to be a great vehicle, just like so much that's really impossible to test on the ground. It actually ended up being way harder to do Falcon Heavy than we thought, because at first it sounds real easy. You just stick 2 first stages on as strap-on boosters. Yeah, how hard can that be? But then everything changes. All the loads change. Aerodynamics totally change. We've tripled the vibration and acoustics. If you sort of break the qual levels on so much of the hardware, the amount of load you're putting through that center core is crazy. Because you got 2 super powerful boosters also shoving that center core, and it's like, so we had to redesign the whole center core airframe. It's not like the Falcon 9 because it's going to take so much load. Then you got the separation systems, right. It just ended up being really way more difficult than we originally thought. We were pretty naive about that. You fully optimized, it's about 2.5 times the payload capability of a Falcon 9. We're well over 100,000 pounds to LEO payload capability. 50 tons, could even get up to a little higher than that if optimized. And then the nice thing is that it does have the throw capability to toss the Dragon 2 in a loop around the moon. No question, whoever's on the first flight, they're brave.
Yes.
Well, I say, thinking about that, this was like quite a high pucker factor about Falcon Heavy. That's we originally, maybe we should have named it the Falcon 27. We thought maybe that people might balk at that. It's a lot of engines to work simultaneously, and you have 3 times as many separation events. So it's a lot trickier of a proposition than Falcon 9, but the payload capabilities are amazing, and it's got a lot of potential doing the heavy high altitude geostationary satellites that currently can only be flown by Ariane, if it's a really heavy satellite. If Falcon Heavy, if it reaches orbit, it'll be the biggest rocket to reach orbit by thrust since the Space Shuttle and Saturn V, and it'll be the biggest operating rocket today until SLS is active. Right. Liftoff thrust approaching 5 million pounds. Saturn V and the shuttle were about 7.5.
Well, I think there's a pretty big social benefit or civilizational benefit to being a multi-planet civilization. Having human bases throughout the solar system, I think, first of all, I think that's very exciting and inspiring, and there need to be things that are exciting and inspiring and make you look forward to waking up in the morning.
What do you love about the future? And if we're not out there, if the future does not include being out there among the stars and being a multi-planet species, I find that it's incredibly depressing if that's not the future that we're going to have.